important. Man. Yeah, for them to see it.
We'll be playing for Friday night at Miller House. And by Miller House, I mean Bogies.
That's
we're
right.
not
Yeah,
playing at Miller House Friday night.
bogeys.
You just got me. I was like, oh,
I know.
crap.
Me too. At first, I was like,
No, Bad Influence is playing at Miller House. And Claire, I actually haven't even told you about something yet.
Oh.
I've been talking to Kim a lot.
Oh, I talked to Kim too. I have not been responding as much as I should be, but yeah, I talked to Kim. What's up?
Yeah, so we're doing our show Friday at Bogies. It's gonna be a benefit for Mason Griffith's family and Adam Solentrup's family. And whenever Kim and Brenda saw it on Facebook, they were like, "Oh, we want to do something too." So they reached out to the band that they are having, which is Bad Influence. And they're also going to collect donations there. They're going to run a 50-50 raffle there as well, just like we're doing at Bogies.
Yes.
awesome.
And I think Bad Influence is also going to kind of pitch in some of their funds from that night to the cause. So
Awesome.
yeah. So music on Main Street this Friday. Two awesome bands and playing for a good cause. So come on out.
I mean, I think we should just like shut the street down.
Heck
I'm-
yeah.
It might. I mean, kind of hope so. It's
Like
for
you
a
guys,
good cause,
yeah, that's what
man.
I'm saying, dude. Like you guys get down at that end by Bogies, they're up by Miller House, and we just see what the fuck happens. You know,
Ooh.
like
Yeah.
just battle it out.
You know, the last time that this happened, Chad, during one of our breaks, so we play 3 sets a night, and in between 2 of the sets, we actually ran to Miller House to watch Bad Influence.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was crazy because we had just got done playing Man in the Box.
Not me.
Oh, you weren't there?
No, I was like, fuck that. It's raining.
No, it was raining.
I did have seen them though a couple times.
Well,
I
it
got
was-
lucky.
It was wild because we had just got done playing Man in the Box, and as soon as we got in there, they started playing Man in the Box. It was crazy.
And you didn't get up there and
Dude,
like do it with them.
I mean, we were on the dance floor singing with them.
So is
trying to
bad?
support.
Is that the band Collins in?
Bad Influence? No. He's
Okay,
in
so
center
who?
stage.
Okay, I was gonna say I've seen them once and Bad Influence once, I think. So I don't really know who they are.
Yeah, Bad Influence is good, man.
They-
The first time I seen them, I got done DJing a wedding, and I was dropping our stuff back off at the theater on Main Street back when we RIP. I missed practicing there, but
Yeah.
I was driving down Main Street with my windows down. It was a summer day, and they were playing outside of the back of Bogies, which we've never gotten to do that before. I would love to do that in the back parking lot.
Yeah, they do it a lot.
Yeah,
They've
For
done
real?
it like at least like 3 or 4 times.
There's a
like you said, we've been
dumpster
playing
right
the same
there.
time.
yeah. It's
They
not
move it.
aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, okay. Like, what?
But
Hey, man,
yeah.
a party.
So I was driving down the street, and they started playing "Welcome to the Jungle," and I was like, "Who the heck is playing that?" I went over there, and yeah, they sounded really good. They were good.
I've
So-
seen them play they play Tool, they play Metallica.
Yeah, they're
Um,
definitely heavier.
Yeah, but I mean, like just like good songs you usually don't hear. We play a lot of songs that you don't hear cover bands do, and
Yeah,
it's
we're
just
mostly
so
punk rock,
awesome.
but they're they play heavier stuff, which
Oh, they play Megadeth too.
What
They
was
played
the
Megadeth before. Crazy.
What was the song you guys played for Alex's wedding? That he had you guys play.
Oh,
Check Yes Juliet.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, heck yeah.
You don't see people
No.
covering that.
No.
You don't even hear it in bar. Like you don't hear it anywhere.
Yeah, we
So-
try to we have this thing where we'll be like, we want to play a song that when somebody hears it, they're like, "Oh, dude, I used to love that song. I haven't
Right.
heard that in forever."
That's exactly what happened. Like I
Yeah.
had no idea. Alex didn't tell me that you guys were playing that. So,
Yeah,
we'll
apparently he was
tossed it
really
up
into
at
that
the
song.
wedding. Yeah, I guess I don't know.
A little wild.
Yeah,
We feel the same way about the song "Flavor of the Week." Have you heard that one?
no,
I bet if
probably,
you,
but
you
if-
probably heard
right.
it. We would probably start playing. You'd be like, "Oh wow, I haven't heard this song in a long."
Yeah,
That would be what happens.
Favorite song.
play it.
Flavor of the week?
Yeah.
No, can't do it. Not taking any, I'm
copyright.
not taking any chances.
Copyright.
Like my luck, they'd come right,
Right.
after me. Like,
It-
who is this
like,
fool?
Yeah,
We're
as soon
gonna
as it
get you,
went off,
man.
somebody be knocking on the door.
He lives in his basement. We'll take for everything
Yeah.
he's got.
Right. So, yeah, this is Tyler Ahring. We completely skipped over introducing him. So
Well, we kind of got in a rush. You know,
yeah.
we were.
That's okay.
we
That's
got
okay.
delayed, and that's fine. I just want to make sure that people know.
I think
you know,
the people know, man. I think
Yeah, but-
a lot of. I mean, if you don't know Tyler, are you really part of the community?
We're trying to. Yeah, but what about people outside of Owensville?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going global, dog.
Viral.
All right. I appreciate the positivity.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, Tyler Ahring from
Right.
Owensville, Missouri. the one and only.
The greatest.
Great dude, great father,
Wow.
great friend. I've known
Wow.
him for such a long
All
time.
around an excellent dude.
I need to
Yeah,
get
I
on
mean,
this podcast
yeah.
more often.
Right.
I mean, yeah. Well, honestly, you brought me to Barely Covered. I didn't.
That is
I didn't,
true. Yeah.
I didn't ask for it. I didn't. You know,
Yeah.
like you just like, hey, you wanna jam? I think you even said that, like, hey, you just wanna like jam or practice. You know, like just came over and with him and Casey and been there ever since. Oh, it's
Yeah. The creation of Barely Covered is just kind of crazy in itself, honestly.
well,
It was just
There's-
3 dudes.
No.
Oh.
So it actually started out. It was me and Casey. Casey and I. No, here's how it started out. Casey was in a band called Cold Rooms,
Mm-hmm.
and he just had his daughter Anaya, and he wanted to get out of that situation. And me and him were really good friends, and I was really good at Guitar Hero. I was over.
That's true. I've
This is
seen
really
that.
how it
Yeah,
started.
I mean, I've seen it.
And I was over at his house, and he's just like, "Dude, me and you should start a band together." I just laughed. I
Just
was like, "Dude,
two
I
of
don't
you?
even know a song all the way through. Like, are you serious?" And I'm like, "You're in this band that just got to play in St. Louis. Like, why do you want to play in a band with me?" But he's like, "No, seriously, let's pick a song. Let's learn all the small things, and we're gonna play it next week on Tuesday or whatever." Like, all right, and that like motivated me to learn it. And then I remember I got in the car and I called my wife, Ashton. I was like, "Dude, I'm gonna be in a band." She's
I'm
just like-
famous.
she's
Get
like,
the
"Whatever."
leopard pants out, baby. I'm in a band.
Yeah. But yeah, so that happened. I learned the song, and then it was like doing crack cocaine. I never done crack cocaine, but that's what I'd imagine it feels like.
It's kind of close.
Yeah, you play a song with the drummer, and you're like, "Wow, I feel like a rock star now."
Yeah,
That's what happened to me.
I
at
said it
least.
on the first one. I bragged on Casey. I hear it a lot about Dan, obviously, but Casey's good, man. Like, we weren't the best
Yeah.
when we all started, but like, man, like the progression of Casey is amazing to me.
I
Like,
think-
I am so thankful for, because like he's honestly like the driving force behind it.
Really?
He literally is the driving force, and
could
but
see that.
like he pushed him,
Yeah.
then it kept going from there. Like, you got like Jimmy and what was Tanner and
Tanner
Jimmy?
Lando played a big role in the beginning
Yeah.
for sure. So Tanner
Oh,
was
yeah,
in
that's right.
before
Yeah.
you were in.
Right. I
Yeah.
forgot Clay wasn't like originally
No.
part of it.
No. Yeah. So when it first happened, Clay was playing with you were playing with Joe Zacher, and you were playing with Devin a lot.
Yeah, well,
So you kind of had a band with them at the time.
well, that was actually just like with Joe, we just kind of threw that together because
Right. So I was
me-
put on the music festival, and you guys got together and did that.
yeah, you asked me if I want to do it, and I was like pumped because I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. But then I'm like, I can't sing and play, and I was also like, man, I don't know if I'm good enough to just play by myself. So I got Devin into it kind of the same way Casey got you into it. I was like, dude, you're amazing at Guitar Hero. So like
Yeah,
I know if you can play Guitar Hero, because some songs on Guitar Hero are harder than actually playing the song on guitar.
Not
like,
on easy.
well, on Expert and stuff, like
Oh.
they're harder. They're freaking harder. It
the one
doesn't
thing
make
I
any
will
sense.
say
No,
about
yeah,
Guitar
for sure,
Hero, I think it helped me with rhythm. Like, I don't ever really have to worry too much about rhythm like that. I didn't have to learn. It was more natural. Now, obviously, like learning a little bit of music theory and like learning a little bit of how to finger the fretboard. That was
Practice.
it was,
I'd-
just,
ugh.
it was grueling at first.
Well, I just think about the first songs you learn, and it's just you literally are just so bad, and it's
Yep.
you have to break through that kind of like threshold of yourself, like, where are you gonna do this or not? Because you can't half-ass really. You can not be great, like you don't have to be the best, but
If it would not have been for Casey and me like having somebody holding me accountable, like because we learned all the small things, and then the very next week he's like, "Okay, pick another song." And I was like, "Okay, that's how we learned We're Not Gonna Take It." Because I was like, "That song sounds
Oh,
easy."
man.
And we did. That's how it went. Yeah.
So I thought about this while you were just talking about that. Do you remember when we were in like, I don't know, 5th to like 8th grade, and we thought that like you had the drum set downstairs in your
Oh, yeah.
room, and
Yep.
then you had the blue Fender, the
Yes.
Squire,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, you got a good memory.
Yeah. So
yeah, what the hell?
I'd go over there, and Tyler'd be like, "All right, listen to this," and he like, I don't even know, maybe a quarter of a song on that electric guitar, and then he'd hand me the drumsticks, and he'd take the drumsticks, and he'd like, doom doom tsh, doom doom tsh, just repetitively, and he's like, "You do that, I'm gonna play this, and it's gonna be awesome." I'm like, and I am so uncoordinated with any type of musical instrument. It's just unreal. So thinking about like when he's talking about that, I'm just like, this is where he started there. Like that's where he really started. And I
Yeah,
was his first
yeah.
drummer, so I just want that to be known.
That is true. Also, crazy story.
Holding a
This
band
is how
together.
this is all connected. That drum set was
Mhm.
actually Casey Earhart's first drum
No
set.
way.
Yeah, no
What?
kidding. So
What?
he got really into rock
You're
band.
welcome, Casey.
He got really into rock band, and then he decided I really want to actually play a real drum set. So
Great.
I was like, dude, I can't play this thing, and my parents are like begging me to get it out of the house
Because
I
they
suck
heard
at
me
playing.
downstairs
Yeah.
playing it.
Like every time Tyler has friends over, they just beat the hell out of that
Right.
drum set. So I sold it to Casey for $50. $50, yeah.
Steal.
I don't even know if it was worth $50, honestly. But it was Casey's first drum set, and he played it for quite a while. And then I think he lit it on fire. I think that's how it went.
What?
If I remember correctly, yeah.
He lit it on fire?
Damn.
It was
What?
a really crappy drum. It was a first act drum
Oh,
set. It wasn't worth like you couldn't I sold it for $50 for
I
a
think
reason.
if you hit the cymbal too hard, sometimes it would fall off. Like,
Yeah.
So you can't rock out. It's just
No.
Yeah.
Well,
keeping
and
the beat.
well, there was no beat if I was there because I could do what Tyler wanted me to do like 2 times in a row, and after that, I lost it all. I was like, my brain wasn't functioning properly.
Oh,
So.
I get it. I'm with you. I want to so bad. I want to be a drummer so bad. When I'm in the
Yeah,
car,
drums are super cool.
I'm the best drummer in the world, but
If,
I can't do shit behind that drum kit. My feet are dumb.
I wish I would have learned
really
to play
dumb.
the piano when I was little, like
Yes,
younger.
yeah.
Like, think about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm definitely gonna expose
No,
my kids.
I don't
to
mean the
that.
musical side. I mean the ladies love the
Oh.
piano.
Oh,
I mean, I'm very happy with my wife. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, like when I
Mhm.
was younger, before I got married, like that really could have been an asset.
Oh yeah.
oh, I do. I think about that a lot. Like, I was playing guitar in a band out at bars, and I was already married.
Yeah,
Like, what would
silly.
that have looked like if I
Silly,
wasn't
silly,
married?
silly.
Well, I
there-
can't tell you what it looked like. I have a friend. His name is Alan Cheney. I remember what it looked like for Alan.
You'd probably
I know this guy.
For a few years, it was pretty
Yeah.
wild.
Every
the few
time I
kids that you do have, you'd probably have about 17 of those.
gosh.
Uh,
There's
yeah.
a lot of blonde haired
Yeah.
kids and blue
Blue
eyes
eyes,
just
yeah.
everywhere.
Everywhere,
Just
yeah.
everywhere.
They're slow as hell, but they're funny.
They're
Hey,
fun.
That's true. They're late bloomers. I got faster later. That was a
That's
later
true.
in life thing.
It still blows my mind.
All right. So also back to the origination of Barely Covered. So we had Tanner Landholt and Jimmy at first, and we played one show. We played a mob music festival, which is also kind of weird. I was getting music festivals together way
Yeah.
before I was in a band, just because I liked music. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, you're like Suge
Yeah.
Knight.
But it's kind of weird how it worked out though. Like I was
Yeah.
the same way where I'm like, that's
Yeah.
cool. Like that's awesome idea. Like I love that. But then I don't know, being in the band now, this like progression, you're like, what were we thinking back then? We were just doing stuff and just
I really wish
seeing
we
what
would have got
sticks.
together like when we were in high school. Can you imagine where we'd be at now?
Dude, I've
We'd
had
be-
conversations with Casey about that.
Not that we're like legendary rock stars right now, but if we would have got at it earlier, I feel like we could have like at this point, Casey's got a daughter. I've got 2 kids. Dan has a kid.
Clay has a dog.
Clay has a dog. Alan has a kid. Like,
Alan has a kid.
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Alan's first daddy, right?
Either him or Casey. I
I
don't
think
know.
he's first daddy. Pretty sure.
Justin's older than Anaya.
Pretty sure.
Do what?
I should know that. I don't know.
I should know that too, but I'm pretty sure he is.
Yeah.
Unreal. I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I
Oh.
don't really know Alan though.
They got to be pretty relatively close in age. I think you're right though. I think Justin
Yeah.
is older.
But either way,
Right.
But like now we have a lot of
Sorry.
if we would have started this when we were in high school, then. But in high school we were so distracted by other things. Like
Yeah,
I was distracted by baseball and
Right.
sports, and
I was gonna
you know,
say it'd be worse.
so were you. Clay. You were
probably
playing
then.
sports. Yeah. So I don't even know
Yeah.
that I could have done it then. Actually.
well, I played, but yeah, I was definitely way more in sport mode. I was going for like sport business management in college,
Right.
and
So-
I wanted to be a broadcaster or like taking care of suites. I was just all about sports. ESPN all day,
Uh-oh.
all day.
So saying that, like if you would have started in high school, but like, do you think you'd have the drive that you have now and the attitude? Like, because back then, don't you think you would have probably cared what people thought? Like, if you got up there and you were shitty one night and nobody came the next time, like, what do you think that would have done?
I don't know. I
Well-
don't.
So I mean, you got anything to add?
I mean, I would say even we've had some shows. Don't get me wrong. We've had some shows where like there's not many people there.
Right.
But we've also been very fortunate that like, heck, in the last probably couple years, our shows are usually pretty well attended. Like we haven't
Mhm.
had that problem really.
I haven't seen it. I mean, since 2019, really. That was kind
But
of.
there's
It's almost the
definitely
same year we're having now.
there's like a grind in the beginning where you're like begging people to come.
Right.
And as a high schooler, yeah, that might have been like a
Kind of let the
downer.
wind out of your sail type of deal.
Well, I'll never forget. This goes so the first show that Clay played with us, it was at Stony Hill, Purdy's, which was just a crazy show in general. We have so many memories from that.
Yeah.
But one of my most vivid memories from that show is we were literally in the first set, like the third song of the night. We got to play for 4 hours. We're going to be there for 4 hours playing music. It's our first time ever doing this. And we're on the third song of the night. And I just looked at we always post our set list on the back of our speakers so we can see. I remember looking at that set list and being like, there's no way I'm going to make it through this night. I hate this. I don't want to be here anymore. But then by
Dude,
it was like the
we
sixth
didn't
song
have-
or something, I was like, all right, I got this now.
Yeah.
They got me drunk.
mean,
My family got me drunk. I had like I just remember Alan telling the story. He's like, you had like 6 Jaeger bombs, and then you just like came out and played "Give Me 3 Steps," and I was just like, he's like, you kicked ass, and I'm like, I don't even do that now. So I was like, I don't know what you're saying,
that's
but
awesome.
yeah, I kept getting fed that night, and I probably shouldn't have. You know, I don't do that anymore, but
Well, I mean,
I wasn't nervous about it, but it was definitely like rough because we didn't have PAs. Like we're just playing through our amps.
oh really?
And like
No. I had bought. Yeah.
no for Alan to sing through, but our amps were just playing straight
Oh,
out.
it was just raw. We didn't have a
We didn't
mixing
have
board yet.
no.
So there's another factor.
You were just like plugged into like Alan was
Oh
just
yeah,
plugged
money
into
in high school. There's
Right.
no way we could have done that.
Well,
There's no
I
way.
mean, I'm not. Obviously, I wasn't in you guys' minds, but I mean, I was in high school with you, and I know to an extent I cared what people thought, especially older people. So, you know, for me, if I would have been in a situation like that, went and played a show and like, you know,
Somebody
talked
said
it up,
something negative or
talked it
something.
up, and like made it a big deal. People showed up, and then my band was absolute garbage. And then the next show, like my mom's there, and that's it. Like I'm done. I'm done with it.
well, it's
Yeah,
not,
no,
it's not
that's-
as much that too. Like I was in money mode where I was like, I want a good job.
Yeah.
Like I want a white collar job where I'm like, just
What happened?
I just was. I had a lot happen, dude. A lot of stuff happened.
That's gonna have to be another
I-
podcast.
yeah,
that's like-
Chad.
3
Well-
podcasts long.
Well, honestly, like when I went to school, I really wanted to work for the Cardinals. I really wanted to be in like this box suite. I wanted
Oh,
to be
yeah.
planning like scheduling those with companies and different people, like having parties. Like that was my goal. I was like, I want that job so bad. But then you get in there and like, you know, it's a lot of politics. Like you got to know people. Like to be in the Cardinals, like I pretty much found out you have to know like a couple people, and you can't be a slouch like at all.
Yeah.
So I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, it was looking more and more bleak. Then I was like, okay, well, I love the Blues. Like, I'm going to focus on that. I mean, that was right before like the lockout and stuff. So like, I had people I was talking to at what was it, Savis, or yeah, I guess it was
Scott Trade.
It was.
Who?
I guess yeah, it was one of the, I think it was Scott Trade. But anyways, when I was there, a lot of those guys were like, dude, I don't know if I'm gonna have a job. So you know, like
Yeah, we
like
can't
the
be giving
future
out jobs, right?
yeah,
now.
the future didn't look like bright because like I had my mind like so set on like doing those things. I didn't want to like compromise, and I didn't want to move like out of state, you know, be with Kansas City Royals or
Right.
something, or Pittsburgh, you know, like to
Well,
me,
the
like
Royals
as a
aren't
St. Louis
out of
person,
state, but-
it was like I wasn't mature enough to be like I don't think I could keep my mouth shut. I couldn't be like Red Sox. Like if I was on the Red Sox hired me and paid me millions, like I would do it, but it'd be hard for me to be like, go Red Sox. Like, come on, Red Sox.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, we would hate you too.
yeah. But also too, like, I just really realized that's not what I want to do. I don't. My parents wanted me to like, well, my mom like a doctor, lawyer, or like an engineer, and it's not like those are bad, but like for me, that's just not what I wanted. I know I
Right.
was gonna give 110% in that, so it kind of like deterred me from it really, and I just didn't really want to do it. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a
Yeah.
rock star, but still, that's the same thing. I'm like, that's not feasible. Like, come on, like, yeah, it's a cool thing to go for, but and I played music still, but I wasn't like, I didn't think it actually happened. Like Joel literally brought to my eyes where he's like, what did you want to do? I'm like, it'd be cool to be a rock star. He's like, well, you fucking are. So,
I mean,
like,
yeah.
mission complete. And I was like, holy shit. Like, yeah, you're kind of right. Like,
Right.
I am doing it. I didn't even like realize it. So it's all about your perception at the time. At that time, was not focused at all. Was not mature enough at all.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I mean, it's just like a mindset. Like you guys now obviously are older. You started when you were what, mid-20s?
Well, I
Yeah.
played. Well, I
Well,
played in
barely
high
covered,
school.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, barely
but,
covered.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, like in a serious fashion, where like you were trying to book gigs, like get paid, like bigger venues
Well,
type of deal. So
I was always serious about it. I just didn't. It's you got to find people to click.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
we're super lucky because I mean, so many bands just like have problems with people like guys getting too fucked up on stage or people like not learning songs. Just not being good or holding each other accountable. Like that's all I hear from all the other bands in like St. Louis I've been a part of, or people like it's a lot of turmoil, it seems like. And not saying we're perfect, but these guys are awesome. Like I can talk to them. Like we're like really close. We grew up together.
Yeah, I'm
We
sure
just
that
don't have
helps.
as many of those problems. But we
Yeah.
also like communicate. Like we all like texting and just being on top of it. I don't feel like a lot of
Mhm.
bands do that. Other bands. So
Well,
it kind of falls at the waist.
for me, when it comes to like, we just booked a show at Pops at the end of the month, and for me, when we booked the show, we were not ready to play at Pops. Like, we didn't. Dan had wrote songs with Casey, that Cats on Acid album. Find it on Spotify, but he had. But he had wrote that
Put the
album with
link in there.
Casey, and we like had the intention, like, what? Yeah, we're gonna learn these songs so we can go play them out, but that's gonna take some time,
Right.
But then I saw this thing pop up on Facebook. It was his name was Chris Coleman. He actually went to Sullivan. He knew people around our age. I didn't know him, but
Yeah.
he works at Pops and booking like local shows, and they were looking for a band for this night or whatever. And I reached out to him like, hey, we're interested. What does it take? So we got on it, and it was like, we're not really actually ready for this. So we actually had practice tonight. We've had a couple practices where we're learning these songs, and we've been writing new songs. So yeah, we're gonna go out and we're gonna try the whole original thing, which in the beginning that was never the goal. The goal was never to like write our own music. Our goal was just like, let's learn cool songs that we
Just
like and go play them out.
have fun.
So
Like
Yeah, but that's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's more to my point as well, or what my question, I guess, because again, the 16, 17, 18-year-old version of you is
yeah, I couldn't have done
not
it.
going to pursue that even probably.
well, yeah,
No.
especially if it's just for
or
fun.
pursue it, but then half-ass it to where you get at the show and you're just like,
It's also a right place, right time thing. You think about like we graduated high school, we went different places. Like
mhm,
Clay went to St. Louis, I stayed at ECC, but then when I was done at ECC, I was in Warrensburg.
Right.
So like it just logistically it never would have worked.
yeah.
And then Alan was still a baby.
Yeah, what was it, in like
Still in the
sixth grade or
womb, yeah.
something?
He was a freshman when we were freshmen in college.
Little
so.
Alan. I have so many people like from his grade. They're like, man, like not like I'm trying to say anything bad, but they're like he was always just really quiet. So it's like they're like now I see him like up there on stage like screaming. I'm
Yeah.
like, is that
Yeah.
Alan? That's Alan. It's like
Well,
holy.
that's what I thought about Casey. Casey wasn't real out. I mean, he
No.
was outgoing, but he wasn't loud. Like he
True,
wasn't
100%.
obnoxious about it in high school. So like to see him up there and just kind of be himself, that's cool. And like Alan and Dan, I don't know them very well, but like Dan looks like he's probably pretty reserved for the most part if he was in just a normal group setting.
Yeah.
So
Dan's
to
pretty
see them-
chill.
yeah, to see them do that, it's cool. Like to see people just be happy and give it their all to what they want, and
Yeah.
it makes me happy, and I don't
Oh.
even know those guys. You know what I mean?
Well,
It
yeah,
makes me real happy because I know you two, and I know that you like doing that, and that's what you wanted to do to an extent. So
Yeah.
you
well,
know,
yeah, especially like back on Dan, like what you said, he's really humble. Where when we first played with him, he was gonna be a bass player, and then he's like, I play guitar too. Tyler gives him his guitar and just like he just starts
I'll
shredding
never
it.
forget he played the solo to One by Metallica.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't play guitar, like you're good.
Yeah,
at
like, you're
guitar.
good.
you are the guitar.
Yeah, like you just took my job, dude.
And a couple like of the early shows when he's playing with us, I know one of the festivals, I can't remember what year, but he just sang a couple songs with just him and a guitar, and it was insane how good it
Yeah.
was. And I was
Yeah.
like, holy cow! Like,
Yeah, we really hit a ringer there with Dan. So Dan is a few years younger than us. He went to Borgia in high school. Which boo that, yeah.
Boo.
We gave him a lot of crap for that in the beginning.
You went to
I
Borgia?
I mean, it's still sometimes
You
a
didn't know
thing.
that?
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
But-
said.
The way we got Dan, Trevor was our bass player, and he had just left for the Marines. So we didn't have a bass player, and we actually played a few shows where it was just me and Clay. Like for songs where we really needed bass, we would put one of us on bass. But if we didn't need bass, we would just play two guitars and not have a bass.
Yeah.
And we had already booked shows, so we had a show at Otis Campbell's that we did that. And Dan started working at Motomart with Casey. He knew Casey was in a
Mm.
band.
That's right.
He
Clay
came
had told
out.
me that.
Yeah, he came out and watched one of our shows, and then he's like goes to work. And now I think about this, and I'm like, man, he must have thought we sucked. He has to be like,
dude,
you guys are peasants compared to me.
He's like, hey, Casey, do you guys need help?
well, as soon, dude, I kind of knew it as soon as like we had that practice, and you handed him the list, and you're like, hey, like which one you want to do? And he's like, yeah, like all
I'm
of them.
good.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
It was like, what? I was like, what does that mean? Like you're good.
He's like,
So-
do you guys know?
He knew more of the songs than we did. Like
Oh,
there was
yeah.
a couple songs where I was like, hey, let's not do that. We'll do this.
I don't want to
one.
embarrass myself in front of this guy. That's
Yeah, honestly.
Well-
and then like I was just, I don't know. Every time I play with Dan, I'm just like,
The process of like selecting band members in the beginning was a huge conversation all the time with me and Casey, especially because we were the first two. Getting Clay was a no brainer, but when we were trying to find a singer, we didn't really know we didn't know how to take it. And that's such an important part of your band, because if you don't have a good singer, then your people are not gonna like you.
right.
but
And-
also your range, you know?
Oh, that's a huge part. Yeah,
Like-
that limits what you can or can't play.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't even know if you know this, Clay, but do you know we actually auditioned somebody and we did not select them? Not because they weren't a good singer, but because stylistically they did not make sense for us.
It
But
was me.
it was Chad Hopkins.
I don't know why you didn't pick him. I just can't believe it.
No, it was actually, do you know who Mark Wilka is?
No, it sounds familiar.
I think he's like Alan's age, maybe a year younger or
Wilka.
older. But
Weird.
yeah,
Never even heard that
he's
name.
actually, no, he's my sister's age. I think they graduated.
Oh, okay.
But he came over to my house. This was before we even messed with Alan. He came over to my house. I'll never forget. We played all the small things. It was literally just me and him, and I was playing all the small things. Probably like one of 3 songs I knew at the time. And I had him sing with me, and he's a fantastic singer. He went on to be like sing in the military, and he's fantastic. But his style, he sings like like Frank Sinatra kind of. And
Oh,
I was
like
like, well,
real
that's not
deep.
really what we're going for. Yeah, he's got a very smooth voice.
Well,
But yeah, he was like on my radar at one time to be like the singer in Barely Covered, and then it didn't really work out, which was fine. Mark's a super guy, but and then Alan, I'll never forget, because Casey didn't know Alan at all. He had no idea who he even really was.
I mean, I didn't either.
Was-
You guys are the ones who
I-
introduced me to him.
The only reason I knew him was because I knew he was in a band before. I was just like, maybe he can sing. So
What was what's his name? McKinney? Was
Caleb McKinney.
Caleb McKinney? Yeah.
Now,
So
those guys, Caleb McKinney, Andy Girth, and Caleb Mundviller, he played with those guys.
You don't mean
yeah. So I know.
Rep's husband, Caleb McKinney, do you?
know.
Okay, I was like, what?
And it's not Caleb McKinney. It's
I was gonna say that would. It's I think I know. who you're-
Landon McKinney.
Yes.
Landon
okay,
McKinney. Yeah,
okay.
he's really talented too. He was
Yeah.
really cool.
So was Alan in like choir or anything in school?
yes,
Yeah, he's
he
in
was
choir.
choir. He
Okay.
was drama. He was all those
I
things.
mean, that doesn't
so-
mean anything. I was in choir for 2 years, so that definitely, you know.
You
what I
were
mean?
in choir for the ladies, though, Chad.
Right.
Yes.
Are you
Had nothing
trying
to
to
do with singing.
segue into Barely Covered,
do you-
Chad? Is this
no,
what
no,
it
no,
is?
You want to roll and barely covered?
No, man.
Is
I'm
that-
just. I like hearing about it. I'm pumped for you guys.
Tyler
I like it.
or Casey's not gonna play Tyler Childers.
No, I mean,
I like.
I got a harmonica at home. I'm just saying, if you guys need somebody to rip
know-
down a harmonica,
Hook.
True story. We've actually had somebody come to us and try to join our band because they said we need a saxophone player.
no, you don't. You need a harmonica.
Sexy.
Well, okay. Another thing about a harmonica, we're actually getting ready to play a private show, for a 25th wedding anniversary for this couple that comes to all of our shows. It's in like June, I think. Yeah, I think it's June 10th, but it's a private gig, and the husband that's the part of the anniversary, he plays a harmonica, and he's gonna play some songs with us. So we are gonna play some
What?
songs with harmonica.
That's awesome.
What? Do we have the songs already?
no,
Like,
no, we don't.
Get Bren on a triangle and me on a harmonica. And
Oh,
just,
crazy story
we'll
about
burn
Bren.
that fucking thing
I
down.
tried to get Brennan barely covered. True story. Yeah. Whenever Trevor left, we needed a bass player. and
Bren
I was,
plays bass.
no,
Oh.
no. I told Bryn, I was like, listen, I learned how to do this. You can learn how
Yeah.
to do this.
Mm.
And at the time, Bryn was like really wanting to find a significant other. And I was like, dude, being barely covered, you're going to have an opportunity.
Well, yeah.
And that's a little bit of a lie because we really don't pull ladies. But,
We all got ladies, you know.
yeah.
We ain't
Mhm.
trying to pull no ladies,
But
you know.
anyways, I tried to teach Bryn, and literally after like 10 minutes, we're like, yeah, this
This
is
is
not
not
gonna
gonna work.
No, this is not.
He's
Good
pretty,
dude, though.
he's pretty tone deaf though. love you, Brad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and
He's a
well,
big supporter, though.
what is the 500 miles or
No,
1,000 miles?
1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton.
Oh, doesn't he like the 500 miles? I would walk 500.
Sounds like something he would like, but
Yeah.
his big thing is
His-
Vanessa Carlton.
Yeah, his
Do what?
music choices are just very not barely covered-ish.
Mm.
Yeah.
Not what we're looking for.
But think about it. You guys could, you know,
Hey, if Brent
you
wants to
could
come up, he can
knock
still come up.
Tyler Childers. I mean, any Tyler Childers song out of the park. If you should do like one and just see how it
I-
goes. Turn it into like your version of it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, make it our
Like
own.
White
That'd be
House
cool.
Road.
No, I played one at the we
At
had a
my wedding.
private
Oh,
yeah, I played at your wedding and
Right.
there was a private Christmas show we had.
Oh,
I
really?
played one just because
yeah, but was
we
it the
had
whole
like a
band?
little no.
Okay.
No. But he usually doesn't play with the whole band, so
True.
Tyler Childers.
I'm saying like
Well, stuff
we're
acoustic.
a rock band, Chad, you know.
He has a
like-
lot of acoustic stuff, but he has a lot of
Casey would
He has a
not.
whole band, is what I'm saying. I'm just saying you guys would do it good, is what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Chad.
I feel
You're
like
welcome.
we
Well,
do.
you did. I mean, you got the band played with you at my wedding, right?
No, I just played it.
Oh, sorry, dude.
Yeah,
I
you
was-
did. You
well,
weren't
know
there.
where I
You
was
weren't
at
there.
mentally.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I wasn't there.
But yeah, barely covered. We got, as far as things that are like coming up, we obviously have the show this Friday at Bogies. Then we got the show at Pops, which that's a place I never really thought we'd ever like.
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
went to shows like there as a kid. I never would have thought we'd actually get to play there, so that's really cool.
Your future brother-in-law got his catalytic converter cut off there at a concert
Yes,
once.
yeah, I heard that story. Yeah,
That's not a
Yeah.
good story.
sorry, Chance.
Yeah.
Um,
R.I.P. to your cat.
I think he's gonna come back, so he's gonna come to that show.
Oh, that's risky
so
for
that's
him
risky,
because I already
yeah.
called up there and I told everybody in the area that steals catalytic converters that he was coming back
go get it,
so,
yeah.
Guess who's back?
And then we landed a gig this summer where we're gonna get to open for Breaking Benjamin and Bush at the Ozark Amphitheater, which is kind of ridiculous.
That's super awesome.
Yeah, it
I
doesn't
was-
seem like a real thing that's happening, but it
No.
actually is.
Oh, this dude, the long-haired one, he's like, yeah, there's something big going on with Barely Covered. He goes, but I can't tell you. And this was like 2 weeks before he told me. And I'm like, are you fucking serious, Clay?
Yeah, Chad
Like,
didn't
you
believe
can't
me.
tell me that.
He didn't believe me
I'm
though.
like, what? I'm like, who are you opening for? Like, I knew it had to be something like that. I'm like, who is it? Like, what's the name of the band? It's got to be big. Or you would have told me.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't. He's like, I want to, but I can't. And I'm like, all right, man, whatever. Well, I forgot about it. And then I seen the post and I'm like, I get over here and I'm like,
You're like, Bush?
seriously, Clay?
You're like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause-
it is crazy.
was-
I'm excited about it. Really, it's one of those things. Right time, right place. We're really fortunate. I mean, we got Dan in the band, which is great. But his aunt works for the Ozark Amphitheater. Dan
That's-
got to open for REO Speedwagon Styx and George Thorogood last summer.
What?
Yeah,
You don't remember
By
that?
himself?
by
I told you
himself.
that.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah.
if you told me, dude, you know,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is the stuff goes in there up here and then it just turns to mush.
Yeah, he played George
Santa
Thorogood was
dude.
like the first guy like right after him. So he said like cool thing was like he had a little cigar box that had
Mhm.
like his little finger picks in there and his slide and stuff. And I was like, man, I love you, Dan, but I was like, I really hate you too. Like that's
Did
like
you go to that with us, Clay?
no, I
Okay, so me,
because it was
Me,
on like a
Trevor, and
Wednesday,
Casey
right,
went.
or a Thursday, something like that.
yeah, it was in the summer, so I didn't have school, so it was easy for me to go.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was super cool. I mean, it was definitely very cool. So,
It was kind of last minute too.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
awesome. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that
and hopefully playing there leads to something else. That's usually how it works in this whole deal. Like, you
Yeah.
know, we play somewhere, somebody sees us and like, oh, you should play here.
Well, I mean,
know,
you got-
such and such.
and stuff like that. I feel like there's gonna be bigger people there. Like you got big
Right.
bands playing, following you guys, and then they're gonna be like, that little Barely Covered band from Podunk, Missouri, just tore this stage down, and look how many people came up here to see them. Because there's gonna be a shit ton of us from Owensville up there.
Right.
Like I know I'm going, which
Hopefully.
I'm just me, but I've talked to 10 or 15 people that said they're going, plus their significant others, and like
Yeah, it
so-
should be really fun. We'll see. And then we got some shows at the Lake of the Ozarks. We forgot to play this crazy show last year. It was called Flinkenfest. Did you ever hear about that show?
no,
So it's on this like floating barge at the Lake of the
Jesus.
Ozarks, and people like pull their boats up to it, and they float on these things. They're called flinks. It's like floating and drinking is the whole idea of it. But yeah, we played that last year. It was a lot of fun. We got invited to come back and do it again this summer, so we'll do that again. Then we got a Busch Stadium gig. We're gonna do the Battle at Busch thing. I think at some point we're probably gonna try to do the Point Fest deal, the Road to Point Fest or whatever.
the makeup for COVID, right? For Battle of the Bush.
Yeah, because we were supposed to do that in 2020 and it
Right.
didn't work out. So we're excited to do that, but we're just trying to like venture out and put feelers into opportunities that would maybe lead to something else. So,
Right. I think that's what you have to do. And actually, I had
Right.
asked Clay about that. Like, I don't know, it's been a couple of weeks or months. I said, why aren't you guys like going, to St. Louis and stuff like that to play? And then shortly after that, kind of all this started happening. So
Well, like after this is almost. I mean, we have more
yeah,
more shows
I
now,
remember you
but
saying that.
COVID year is kind of the same thing, and
COVID
yeah,
really set us
it
back
it really kicked us right in the balls. But
because we were on the precipice of being like where we are now.
yeah, oh yeah,
Essentially.
so
Yeah.
we could have a couple years under our belt just playing in St. Louis, like having more original songs.
Yeah, but
and-
maybe it's a good thing. Maybe you needed those couple years to get like
Yeah,
everything
definitely.
kind of finely tuned. Because there's been changes with singers and stuff like that since COVID, right?
Yeah, we're
Oh,
a different band. Like, it's definitely different. I mean, when we play, we don't have Sheridan in the band anymore, which Sheridan was fantastic.
yeah.
She's a huge piece of Barely Covered. And
everybody
if she,
loves Sheridan
and
too.
if she
Like
ever wanted to come out and sing with us, like, dude, she could come
I
sing with
think
us
she should
anytime.
just go with you guys and just do zombies at least once every show and just have Sheridan.
Yeah,
like,
that would be
God.
awesome. I love playing that.
I got chills when I said that. Just
any song, honestly.
yeah,
But-
she's good.
Yeah,
man.
she was fantastic.
She was.
But
But-
yeah, I mean, Barely Covered is different now, and I think we're on the up and up. So,
Yeah, you guys are
and
killing it.
at the end of the day, though, I can remember I told Kate from the very first day when we were sitting on the couch. I think we've kind of held this mantra. Like, if it's ever not fun, though, like, I'll have no problem walking away from it. Like,
Yeah.
if it's not fun anymore, then I'm not going to do it.
Exact- I
The whole
mean,
point is for it to. We're
yeah.
not trying to get rich. We're not trying to get famous.
Yeah.
If
We're
it-
just trying to have fun.
Yeah, if it turns into that, great, and if not, then at least we can say we did it. And that's kind of like what we were talking about with this, and like him filming hunts for me and stuff. Like, I don't expect to like get picked up by big name hunting companies.
But
Like,
at the same
that's
time, you're
not-
having fun doing it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
Oh,
always
yeah.
been my thing with hunting or anything. Like, if I don't enjoy it, I'm done.
Yeah. I
Because
think,
then what's the point? Like golf, I said that about golf last year because I was just at a point to where it's a hobby for me, and I was getting pissed. Come home mad because I
you're
shoot
s-
like 100, like
Right.
and I'm like, that's dumb. Like,
It's just not
I'm
fun to
getting
you.
irritated with my kids because I didn't play good golf. It's not like I'm on the fucking PGA.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like, I told
No, I understand
everybody,
that well.
I was like, I'm done. I'm not spending that much money on it this year, and went and played today and shot okay. So like, I'll give it another go, I guess, because I had fun today. But
I
And
think
if it's not fun, then you just step away for a while.
for a while, yeah.
Well, I think it's key because like when we were on that bachelor party, I had played with Andrew, and not saying
Mhm.
Andrew's bad, but I could, Hayden even too when he was on my team. Hayden just freaking good, but
Right.
I like try to take you out of that shell where you're just like not like because we're all hard on ourselves. We're
Oh,
all
yeah.
competitive. We all want to win. We all
Well,
got
yeah.
side bets
You
going
put
on.
a group of 12 alpha males together. I mean, that's what's gonna
But
happen.
yeah, I'll challenge any of my golf friends. Like, if you're gonna golf with me, you're gonna at least have a good freaking day. Like, we're gonna have a good time, and you're gonna like it. Like, we may not win, but usually we win because we're having a great time, and we're just like short memories. Just keep going, just keep pushing. But definitely with the band, I think that's the key ingredient for us. Just having fun. And I mean, I can see it though. Like, you can visually see like us having fun doing it. Like, some people
Yeah.
can fake it or say they're having fun. Like, I see it all the time, so that's like what keeps me going. Like, I just want to keep doing it. I have fun. It's a blast, and it's really a release too.
Right.
When you're like in tune with like 4 other people, and it comes out, and it's just like we
Yeah.
don't practice as much as we should. I think,
And it
And
is a
it's
lot
great.
of work. So if it
Yeah.
wasn't fun,
Oh,
and we
yeah.
were doing all this work for it, then it would be like, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
Because
You'd just be
it's-
burnt out.
Yeah, it
I
would
mean,
be crazy burnt.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of fun so far, and I think we'll keep going. And to the point earlier too, when Dan joined, we knew me and Casey had a conversation pretty right away. Like, this guy is very good. Like, he's very talented, and like we knew he could help take our band further.
Mhm.
But at the same time, we didn't grow up with Dan. We didn't know Dan super well. So we actually had a conversation with Dan pretty early on. It was in my basement. We're like, hey, man, like, we love you being in Barely Covered, and you can be in Barely Covered as long as you want. But we're also just like, if you get an opportunity to like go do something bigger, or you get an opportunity to join another bigger band, like, take it and do what you
Right.
need to do. But what kept him around was he just liked hanging out with us. He's like,
Yeah.
no, you guys are cool. And
It
like,
was
you
the
guys are,
basement, dude.
it was my basement. Yeah.
I guarantee it.
But he's like, you guys are cool. You guys are, who I want to be around. And it was at a good point in his life for him too. Like, it was something that I feel like, was good us being with him at that time was good for him, his personal situations and whatnot. So, and it worked out really well. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
I feel like we all too we're all friends. We all have like a different connection, you know. Like I feel like Casey and Tyler like really tight.
Yeah,
Like
and
I'm really
I was
tight
gonna
with
say that.
Tyler. Like and then Dan too. Like sometimes me and Dan just like hang out all night, and then then I won't really
Yeah.
talk to anybody else. It's
Well,
kind of like we'll group off in different situations, and it's still fine.
You
You
can
know.
see it on stage to an extent. Like for me, like watching you guys play, like when you two are playing, like when you're right beside each other playing, I can see it because you'll either turn to him or he'll turn to you, and you guys will just, you'll be playing like
Oh.
on certain songs. But then like it's no one gets left out. Like you
Oh.
guys might do that, but then Alan and Dan are over on the other side of the stage, just getting it.
Yeah.
And
Oh
Casey's
heck yeah.
just back there, going nuts.
Always
so it's
getting
like
it.
everybody is in tune with everyone's energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what is also kind of nice about the dynamic, and I've always thought this, I never really vocalized it, I guess, but there are some things I would say me and Casey are maybe a little nerdier, play like video games and stuff like that. So we have that thing that we share. Clay and Dan, I really feel like music is kind of like they're a huge part of their identity, their life, their things that they listen. Clay listens to so many more bands than I listen to. Like I like music a lot, but like you're way more deep in that than I am, and Dan is kind of the same way.
Yeah. So yeah, basically that's kind of where me and Dan kind of went off. Where well, honestly, Rush, like we got Tyler on the Rush train, and I'm
Yeah.
so happy.
Been
You
listening
like
to a lot of
Rush?
I
Well,
did not like
yeah.
Rush, but like
Okay.
I've like listened to I'm listening to all the albums.
It's kind of one of those things
That's
where
fair.
it's like you're a Rush nerd, you know, like
Yeah.
there's not a lot of stuff you don't like about
But
Rush because
everyone-
they put all of it into it.
Every common person that knows anything about Rush knows Tom Sawyer. They know Limelight. They know Fly By Night. But then you start like listening to the albums, you're like, oh my god, like these
Like,
guys.
You know why
These
I
are
like Rush?
masterpieces.
Why do you like Rush?
Great
Paul
name.
Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
And I love you, man.
Oh,
Slapping the bass.
that's
Dude, I didn't.
well,
I
but still, it's like a thing. It's a thing.
I'm
You-
like,
you-
if Paul
you
Rudd
love
likes Rush, then I gotta.
So-
I gotta check him out.
Here's
great.
here's the thing, Chad. Have you ever heard of the Rush song called Bastille Day?
If I heard it, maybe, but I couldn't tell you the name of a lot of songs that I know. You know what I mean?
Right. I understand that. But Bastille Day is definitely not a song that I think anyone knows, really. Unless you're like a really big Rush fan, you probably don't know what that song is.
Yeah, I wouldn't
But-
say that I'm like their number one fan, but I like their music.
Right, and you appreciate them for sure. And I think most people probably do. I mean, they're one of the greatest rock bands of all time, probably. So I think people appreciate them, even if they don't like listen to all of their stuff.
Yeah.
But we have been learning this song Bastille Day, which is the first time we've ever covered a Rush song, which is a reason why people don't cover Rush songs, because they're freaking hard. They're
Really?
insanely hard, yes. And I've probably got 5 hours just in practicing just this one song. Casey tonight said he's got at least 6 hours practicing Bastille Day.
Damn.
Clay has put his time in. Dan has put his time in.
And that's outside of what you guys have done as a group.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't like learn them when we're all together.
Right.
You learn them alone, and then you bring it together, try to make it work.
And then you're
But-
like, Clay, you suck. You need to work more on this.
That's it's more often than not. I'm like, yeah. Well, I'm kind of cocky where I'm like, I'll play it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got
I
this,
got
and
it.
I won't play for a couple days. Then we get to practice. I'm like, man, don't have this
Is this
as
an
good
E
as I
or a
thought.
G? I don't remember.
But it
I'm
always
a little more
motivates.
on the anal side. Like
What?
I practice
sorry.
a lot. Yeah, you're learning all kinds of things about me, Chadwick.
Kind of figured that.
But no, I'll practice it like crazy, and maybe over practice it because I'm like, I just know where I'm at skill wise, so I
Mhm.
feel like I have to put more time in to be able to like I'm not even remotely close to Dan. It's not even the same ballpark, and I'm not really that close to Clay either. I don't think. So I just feel like I have to practice a lot to be able to kind of hang.
Yeah, but
So,
that's how
And-
you've been for the 21 years that I've known you.
I just
Oh
suck
my-
at everything.
every-
I have to
oh
work
my-
hard.
With everything.
Gee
No.
whiz.
I just mean like
He's our
you
guest,
are-
Chad.
no, he's like- he
No,
wants
I
to
totally get what
be-
you're
He
saying.
wants to be the best. Like
yeah, no,
that's
he
like what I was
works. He
saying
puts the
other
work
day.
in.
Yeah.
He puts the work
He
in.
has the
dude.
mentality that if he's gonna do it, he's gonna be the best. I
Well-
mean, like when I say that, Tyler is who I think of because I've
Yeah.
seen it. Like cross country, bowling. How many 300s have you bowled
I've only bowled
at your
one,
age? Yeah, but
sadly.
okay, but
But yeah, I do have
when
one.
did that happen?
2000.
So you were like 19.
I was in my.
I don't know anybody else
ACC.
that's done that.
Well, basically to reiterate,
But-
like that is one thing I love about
Golf.
Tyler is
This dude
he
picked up golf and like
but just anything. If you come up to Tyler and you're like, hey, you want to do this, man?
yeah, he's all
and
for
he's
it.
free and he's got time and like he he's
don't
gonna
even
make
know if he
fun
has
of
to
it.
have time. He's just like, I'll make time.
No,
Like,
well, he needs to have time, but like still, just he's down to do it or try it.
Mhm.
Like if it looks like it's possibly fun, you know, like
Yeah, I'll
he'll
give stuff
give
a
it a go.
try.
He'll give it a go,
Polish.
and then if
Yeah.
it is, he'll dive into it. You know,
Yeah,
and
the
then,
problem, and it's and everybody has to this to a degree, but if I get into it, sometimes I get like obsessive.
Yeah,
and
I do the
then,
same thing
yeah,
with certain
everybody,
stuff. I
yeah.
mean, it's just how it is.
Like when I got into golf, like I golfed every single day for like
Bought
4
a
months
golf
straight.
cart, bought
Yeah,
2 golf
Bought,
carts.
but I've still never bought a single golf club. You believe that? Never
That's
bought a golf club in
wild.
my life.
But you weren't bad. That's what I'm saying. Like, you picked up golf faster than anybody I know.
he's athletic.
I mean, he's not a scratch golfer, but he's playing bogey golf, or was.
But
Yeah.
see, like me and Joel talked about this. Like you're athletic though. Like if you're able to like put your ego aside and like listen.
I think it's a hand-eye coordination.
yeah,
Golf. Like if you got
yeah.
hand-eye coordination, I think
to an extent.
it works really well with baseball players
Yeah.
because I feel like you have to have hand-eye coordination to play baseball.
Well,
You
see,
do, but you
but
don't. You don't want to.
you also have bad habits, so it's a
yes.
baseball player.
Yeah.
You don't
The
want to play
baseball swing
baseball
is rough.
then go to golf like I did. It's
Yeah.
it's 2 different worlds. Like,
Right. No, the swings are not the same.
no, not at all.
And talking about what you talked about earlier, I that COVID year when everything shut down, that's when I really got into golf because I had
Yeah, we
nothing else
played
to
a
do.
lot
We
that
played a
summer.
ton then, yeah. And I loved it. I was so into it. But then when next spring came around and I was coaching baseball again and I was hitting fungos every single day, I completely lost my golf swing and it just pissed me off. Like
Mhm.
you talk about, like, I don't want to play it anymore. you know?
Yeah.
Like I felt like I worked so hard to get where I was, and then when I went back, I took so far back.
Yeah, you probably
like,
wanted to twist your foot, like you wanted to do the whole baseball swing.
Oh
like,
yeah, because
yeah.
I hit a million fungos to
Mhm.
children for days.
Well,
but yeah, I mean I think that's probably my favorite like characteristic, I guess, of yours. Like,
yeah,
yeah, man, no problem, man. I mean, it's just
it's kind of what like where
it's
we're like
weird to say
about
that
on the.
you
We
look
want to
up
have.
somebody that's your own age, but like that's it. I mean, like,
I mean, yeah,
like,
yeah, true.
being a dad, as soon as I found out Tyler was gonna be a dad, I'm like, he's
Yeah.
killing it.
Yeah.
We're all done.
There are days
We-
where
we are all
anybody
second.
that's a parent knows that
Oh,
there are
right.
days where you're like, God, I suck at this.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, I'm not even gonna say it because it's very messed up. But like, I get it, man. There's days
Oh,
where
yeah.
you'd rather just take them up to the firehouse and then have to listen to them ask you another question. But I feel like you probably have more patience than I do. You know what I mean? Like, you're probably gonna
Maybe.
take
Well,
105 questions. I'm only taking 2. So
Yeah, I don't know. Chad. You might be giving me too much credit here.
I don't.
Talk to Ashton. He could tell you.
I just know the people that you hung out with in high school. Like, I mean, if you can deal with our little group of friends in high school, your kids are probably no problem.
Yeah, I think being a school teacher now really has
Right.
helped me with my patience. My patience is a lot better, but there are some things I don't have patience for. Like I'm not a big fan of really messy situations. So
Me-
like whenever the kids are
me
eating and
neither,
like they
bro.
got like spaghetti all over
Ugh.
their face and they're taking yogurt and rubbing it in their hair.
Quit.
I'm like, stop,
Quit.
stop. I'll feed you with a spoon.
I'm gonna start yelling right now at my kids. They're not even here and they didn't do
Yeah.
anything.
But Ash, like Tyler, they need to learn their motor skills. Like it's like using
Yeah.
a spoon is hard, using a fork is hard. Like they have to, sensory. And I'm like, just let me feed them. Like,
Yeah.
I'll-
I know they're
Open your mouth.
Ashton, I know they're 18, but just let me feed them, please.
It'll be faster this
No,
way.
man, I'm the same exact way.
mess
The
is hard
not
for me.
the not listening thing is big for me. Like, my daughter's 7, my son's 5, so they know. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
know, and they're both in school, so they can go to school and I'll get messages. Oh, Reed did so good today, or my daughter, I don't worry about. She's great. She's my retirement plan. But like, Reed, like, man, if I have to say something to you like more than twice,
Start to get an edge.
I'm gonna raise my voice. No, it's a guarantee. I'm gonna yell. I don't mean to, but I can't help it. And a lot of that is you parent how you were parented.
True.
And
yeah.
Communication.
We talk about that a lot.
my
me and
mom
Ashton
never,
do.
we didn't get spanked. Cool, that was fine. But we definitely got yelled at. So I try not to because little kids, that scares them apparently. But
Well, that's how they learn too. You know.
being yelled at.
Well, yeah, like you just said, your parents yell at you,
Yeah,
so
I
it's
know,
a,
but
it's
I
a
don't.
learning
I don't
thing.
want that passed down.
Yeah, I get
I
what you're
want to
saying,
find
yeah.
this happy medium of where I don't want to be there. Like, I don't want them to think we're best friends, but I got to find this happy medium to where I can discipline my kids, but not over discipline my kids or not
Dude,
overreact.
I totally get what you're saying. Me and Ashton, we have these conversations all the time. It's really weird because we both had really great relationships with our parents. Like we love our parents and we
Yeah.
were really happy with everything they did. And I wouldn't change anything. Like I wouldn't change anything that they did. But, at times Ashton will point something out like, we shouldn't do that because of this reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, that's logical, but my parents did that to me and I turned out just fine.
I'm doing
But
okay.
right. And it's like, yeah, I guess my parents probably shouldn't have done maybe this, but it still is fine. It's just, yeah, that's the hardest part about
Well,
parenting for me.
And I think a big part of it is, we got off on a whole different subject here, but I think a big part of it is like my mom had me young. I had my kids. I was 23 when my daughter was born, and then 26 or about to turn 24 with Adeline, and then 26 when Creed was born. So,
Mhm.
like that's fairly young. Like I'm not upset at the time frame, but I definitely wanted to be about this age. So like 30 to 32 when I
Right.
first started having kids. So I'm and I've always said this, like I have had to learn patience
Oh
and
yeah.
grow up with my kids to an extent.
Yeah.
And I'm not there yet.
But
I'm
what's
just not.
crazy?
So
How old did you say your parents were when?
my mom was 21 when she had me. My dad wasn't around. So
Right. So my parents were younger too. Like what's
mhm.
crazy to me is I feel like people that are our age are kind of just consistently having children later on average.
Yeah.
And I think
Well,
it's because of society, one, but I also think we're not we just know that we're not ready
how
now.
old were you when your first kid was born?
Oh gosh, so Wes is 3 and he's gonna be
So
3 and
27.
so I was, yeah, 20.
Yeah, and that's a good age I feel like too, but like again, I feel like where you were at that age and where I was at totally
Right.
different. Just
Right.
mentality wise, maturity wise, like everything. And there's we like you said earlier, we just took different
Oh
paths.
yeah,
We went different
100%.
directions, and um
I don't know that I could have like raised a child at 24. I based on like where I know my head was and everything, like the things I was doing, I just don't know that I could have done.
I mean,
It would have been hard for me. So
their
I'm
their mom
serious.
and I aren't together anymore, but I mean, she handled a lot of it, like in thankfully, because where I was at that age, like I was not at a
Right.
good place in my life. So like when my daughter was born, I was like,
Plus, you're
shit,
probably freaking
shit,
out. Yeah,
yeah,
you're
a little
freaking
bit. I
out.
mean, I always wanted kids because I wanted the chance to be a dad and like
Right.
be what my dad wasn't. But so yeah, I was freaking
But then
out.
when it happens, you're like, oh my God,
Yeah,
like this
dude,
is for real.
changed my life, but it
Forever.
didn't change my life. Is
Game
like it
time.
wasn't as quickly as I wanted it to change my life.
Right.
It's taken time, and like I said, I'm growing up with them.
Right.
Like they parent me probably sometimes more than I parent them in a way.
Yeah, I've
Right.
seen it. I've seen it.
Well, they do. I
Yeah, because you
mean,
got to learn. Like,
well, they keep me in line.
right.
Like,
And this is crazy. This is a, but I truly believe that there's nothing more like selfless you can do than take care of someone else's life. And like when you're raising, like you have to give up so much of yourself to be able
yeah.
to do that.
And I'm
So
trying to be better about that now. Like, because there's obviously I realize there's always stuff I can do better, but like we switched from I used to have them every 2 days. We switched to a full week. Now I don't have them. There's nights I go home, man, and I'll go in like my daughter's room and just sitting on the floor and just
right,
break down. Like I miss them, but I know at the same time I have to have that time away from them.
right, yeah,
Which gives me a chance to kind of recharge and like
absolutely,
do
yeah,
what I got to do. I'm trying to be home more. So like this whole not having them for a week it's good and it's bad.
right.
But
What you're saying,
and it's only bad because I miss them, and that's selfish. Like they
right?
need time with their mom, but you
Mhm.
know it gives me an opportunity to come do this stupid shit. So
Yeah,
good.
it's
Just
definitely. I mean, you have to have a balance, and me and Ashton have had to try to figure that out too, because I think it's especially hard for women,
mm-hmm,
because like Ashton especially. So like, and Ashton's case is so similar to so many women I know, but she went to college, she got a nursing degree, she was a nurse, she had a job where she was literally in the NICU taking care
mm-hmm,
of sick babies. That was her job. That's what she did
mm-hmm.
every day for her life. So it was, it was an important job. I think it was important. It was worthy
Oh
job, and
yeah.
Oh,
it gave
I
yeah.
her
mean, there's not many people I think that
right,
would
and
want to
it's
do that or could do. I couldn't do that.
right, and it's a job that gave her it gave her the things that she needed to feel like, yeah, I'm doing something important
Yeah.
and I'm helping out. Well, then you have a baby and your identity changes completely. Like for her, I mean, she stays at home with the kids and she became a photographer. And that's been great for us. But there are times
But
where
she
she'll
gave up a whole part of her life.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. So and I'm so thankful for her because, I'm still able to do the things that I do. And yeah, it's been a challenge for me too. Don't get me wrong, but
Mhm.
she's made, she's made incredibly more sacrifice than I have. There's no
Well,
doubt about it.
and I was gonna say too, like both of you guys are there, so that is probably almost more difficult to fit things in, around that being a parent for both of you because there's
You have,
not you aren't
you have to pick and
your
choose.
kids aren't going to their yeah, right.
Yeah, like
Your kids
Right.
aren't going to their moms or wherever for a full week. So, honestly, yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
feel
is.
like I have it hard because I miss my kids, but like
right.
you are giving up a lot. You know what I mean? And that's what you're supposed to do. I get that, and I'm not saying
Right.
that's a bad thing at all, but I'm saying like
Yeah, it's just a different
good for
situation.
you. Like that's awesome that
Yeah.
because you see, especially people our age. There's so many people our age, especially guys. Not saying any of our friends, but like that have a kid and are just like fuck it, and they leave. Like
Yeah,
because they
That's
can't
everywhere.
give up. They can't. Well, yeah, but they can't give up their self.
Themselves, yeah.
Yeah, they're
yeah.
so infatuated with their own well-being
Well,
and what they want that they can't get away from that.
a really a tough thing for me, and maybe you could speak to it too. I don't really know, but like I was a fitness guy. Like I would wake up in the morning, go 100 miles an hour. I would
Mm-hmm.
play games. I would do stuff all day long. And even whenever me and Ashton got married, like that was my identity. Like
Yeah.
that's what I always did. And I look at a person like Ryan Wilson, and like Ryan Wilson, I feel like is living that life right now. Like he's living. I feel like in a sense, I look at a lot of stuff Ryan does now. We had different interests and whatnot, but that guy is always doing stuff.
Yeah,
And like,
Always.
right here.
yeah,
I mean,
Always.
Clay. I mean, that,
yeah, Clay's like that right now too.
if
And
Yeah.
it's
he couldn't do that. I mean, or he
You can't-
could, but
you
you're
can't.
gonna
Oh, yeah.
miss
It's
out on a
impossible.
lot. Like,
well, yeah, you have to make a decision. Are you going to be there with your kid,
or are you
or
gonna go do what you want to do?
and it was a really hard thing for me at first. And I can remember, it being beautiful outside and
Yeah,
me having to sit and watch Wes and think, oh my gosh, this is
I
hard.
can't believe she's making me do this.
Right? Yeah. Then
And
you
that-
get selfish.
Yeah, that I said the same things. I mean, and
Yeah.
I felt like a piece of shit for doing it, but it's
It-
what happens. And then you have to think about that on the opposite side, like we were just talking about, like what Ashton or what any woman that has a kid gives up to be a mom.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
A
And
lot
then,
more.
No, yeah, essentially yes. I mean, unless for some reason the mom is not in the picture anymore, and then
and Ash and I joke about this a lot because I'm a bit probably I'm probably more self conscious than I should be, or maybe than what. But I went from being so active. I was in fantastic physical shape, and
yeah, I bet.
but
No, I'm just kidding you.
I you have kids and you just can't maintain that anymore. So it wasn't possible for me to maintain it. I could have done it if I would have adjusted my diet and been more disciplined and woke up
You don't have
earlier.
time.
Or I do believe you can have time,
Mm.
but I think it's such a you have
When? Now, like this time of night, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah, it's inconvenient times,
Yeah.
times that are not helpful,
Right.
really. But you could make time if it. I think if I could go back and like redo the first couple years of Wes's life, I wouldn't change how much time I spent with Wes, but the time that I didn't spend with Wes,
You
I
would have been
think-
more productive.
yeah, because what happened is you get so drained being a first time parent or being
Mhm.
a parent. It doesn't
At
matter
all.
at all. Yeah, you get so drained that whenever they finally do go to bed, you're like, I'm just gonna go lay down, or I'm gonna go play video games. I'm gonna do something for me
Yeah.
right now and relax. And then you don't end up going to the gym. You don't end up, going and shooting hoops for a couple hours.
No, and I got married the 19th will be a year. So a year ago basically. And like 4 or 5 months leading up to that, I was like, I'm going to work out cuz we're going on a honeymoon. Like I
Mhm.
gained a little bit of weight. I wanted to lose that weight, but I wanted to look good in our pictures and stuff
Absolutely.
too. Like I know
totally
my
get
wife's
that.
going to be smoking ass hot. Like I don't want to look like a slob next to her. So I was going to the gym and I'd wait till the kids went to bed, which my kids' bedtime then was 8:00. So I'd put them down, go to the gym for an hour or two, and then come home. Well, I have to take a shower after that. So it's already 10:00 by the time I get done at the gym, which
Right.
is only a 5-minute drive. So I'm home quick, but I got to take a shower. And then I don't
And
know if
you
you've
guys
ever done
somehow wind
pre-workout.
down.
Like, so I had to do that because I was working, 9 hours.
Yeah.
So pre-workout doesn't
winding
wear.
down is
Yeah,
hard.
right. And then I'd lay in bed till 2 or 3, and I'm like, and then have to get up at 6:30 to take the kids to school.
Right.
And I'm like, I can't do this. I cannot do this. I do not have time.
Speaking of not having time,
Yeah, we've
you guys, let's wrap it up. You guys got anything else?
No, I'm good.
No, I need to go make a pizza.
Yeah.
Oh,
I need to go to
hungry.
bed.
Man,
All right.
But Thanks, Tyler, for being
Yeah,
on.
thanks, Tyler.
Thanks for fucking everything you do for me.
Same to
We'll
you.
see you guys
Same to
next
both of you
week. Don't
guys.
forget, Bogies, Friday. Be there, be square. There's a lot
Yes,
more
sir.
coming up.
Hell yeah.
We'll be back.
Maybe we can post a list of you guys' shows too, like on our page.
Yeah,
so
Maybe.
Sure.
that way
Whatever.
the people know.
The people.
Hey, Clay, stop it right at an hour.
Oh.
We haven't been.
How much longer? Oh.
5,
It hasn't been an
4,
hour.
3, 2.